If you're following That First Heard, you might know Amber's got a friend named Eve Barlow who's a self proclaimed music journalist. Now, it will come as no surprise to you that Eve did not have good things to say about Jeff Beck. First, Eve had nothing to say, and then Eve had something, well, not so nice to say. This was predicted. We knew if Eve said something, it wouldn't be good. Obviously, Eve is only judging Jeff on the fact he toured with Johnny and he was good friends with Johnny and nothing else. So, if you call yourself a journalist and you've got nothing to say on a legendary guitarist passing away, that's not very good journalism. I'm not a journalist, but I've got to assume that in a lot of cases, to be professional, you've got to put your feelings aside. So, after this, I could safely say, well, I guess Eve is not a journalist. So, let's see what I'm talking about. And by the way, looks like Eve lost about 100 followers on Twitter, maybe because of this tweet. But probably not. Probably her followers are on her side anyway. To the Depp fans who are trolling my Substack, there is no piece on Jeff Beck because Jeff Beck meant nothing to me. The world's most talented guitarist is Annie Clark. Whoa! First of all, no one was even saying so much about talent as far as respecting somebody who unfortunately passed away. Second of all, you've got to compare someone who obviously is not as good as Jeff Beck. We'll get to that. No offense to Annie in the same tweet. Why? Why can't you just say something like, it's unfortunate Jeff Beck passed away. I chose not to write a piece on it. Something like that. Why do you have to say he meant nothing to you? And then compare to somebody who, let's face it, almost no one knows. This is what you tweet about 3 or 4 days after someone passes away tragically. It wasn't even like Jeff Beck passed away from old age after he'd said goodbyes and things like that and figured things out. It was sudden. It was an unlucky case in which a lot of people recover from, in which most people recover from. He got unlucky. This is one of the most distasteful things I've seen in a long time. I'll admit it could have been worse. I honestly expected worse from Eve, but it's not so good. As Eve would say, it makes my stomach turn. And the tweet got over 20,000 views. Not too many likes, because probably a lot of people who agree with her about Amber still won't stoop to that level. I mean, if she doesn't like Johnny, fine. But Jeff Beck isn't even Johnny. Now she's doing something distasteful against someone just because they know Johnny. How far is this going to go? How about you work on proving that Johnny's this bad person and abuser you think he is before you start saying things? How about work on some logic, facts, and evidence? Who's trolling who? So Eve is getting trolled on Substack, but this isn't trolling people? Alright, let's see who Ann Clark is. Ann Aaron Clark, born September 28, 1982, known professionally as St. Vincent, is an American singer, musician, and songwriter. Her music is noted for its complex arrangements utilizing a wide array of instruments. St. Vincent is the receipt of various accolades, including 3 Grammy Awards, 4 songs they can't mention, because if they did, no one would really know them anyway. Again, alright, no offense against Ann Clark, but I gotta say, honestly, she is not famous. And I'm not going to hear any arguments that, well, this is a woman guitarist and she couldn't make it because Jeff Beck's a man and all that stuff. There's a lot of great female musicians and they make it based on merit. Here's another one she retweeted, reminiscing about some cool shit over my Substack. So this isn't connected, but obviously within about the same day, she tweets about the Beastie Boys with no mention of Jeff Beck. I like the Beastie Boys. That's my generation. They're great. But what's with the timing? You're going to compliment the Beastie Boys on your Substack and fail to mention what's going on this week in music? Okay, not the best journalism, in my silly little opinion. And Beatrix Kiddo, of course, retweeted this, and you know what? Eve has said good things about Jeff Beck, just not recently, but she has talked about him. That's more than nothing. Here we have it. Mick Jagger's latest foray into supergroupdom, Jeff Beck, Tom Bogart, Camille Appice, Do It Right, This Is Yummy. Oh, so a group including Jeff Beck you thought was yummy, or in other words, a really nice thing to see, something great. Right. It never ceases to amaze me how easy it is to call out the contradictions of these people who support Amber and, of course, Amber herself. I mean, this is someone very close to Amber. And you know what? Amber claims to be heavily into rock music. She coincidentally wore a Van Halen t shirt when Van Halen died. Now, who knows? Maybe she was actually respecting Van Halen, but if she was, she could have made a statement, not just worn a t shirt. But I digress. And Dr. Truthseeker says, dying. Translation. Nobody's interested in the legendary music journal's opinion, and she wasn't commissioned by anyone to write a piece on Jeff Beck. Selective memory, as she's totally under the influence of AH, which is possible. Fun fact, Annie Clark was involved with Cara Delevingne in 2014 to 2016. Okay, kind of interesting, but I don't think it really relates because we don't really know the standing that Cara still has with Amber and friends, so alright, fine. But it is just a fun fact. And McGee says here, he meant nothing to her. Question mark. I thought journalism was supposed to be about reporting the facts and not your feelings. Oh wait, never mind. As a blogger, she can have feelings. The implication, obviously, that Eve is a blogger, not a journalist, and I think, maybe moving forward, we should be calling her a blogger. Is that what H told her to say? Possible. I can say the same about you, Eve. You don't mean a thing to me. This is pure gold. The hypocrisy in her is outstanding. And yeah, like I pointed out, I'm not saying she claimed to be a huge Jeff Beck fan in the past, but she has said good things about him. So we're going to have to count that as more than nothing. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. You see their money? You could donate to Eve if you want, but wait a minute. Eve is against people monetizing opinions that she doesn't like. So I'm sure she's against monetization on things like Twitter when you're going to insult people who unfortunately passed away. But maybe not. It's pretty confusing. If you're not subscribed here and you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.